Greetings, beloveds. This is Amy Karen Johnson, the Earth Channel. I am going live for the first time now on YouTube. I was planning to go live on Facebook, but I was not getting that to work in my group. And so I'm going live here instead, since I had planned to do so. I had made a post in my Facebook group, Earth Tree Sun, asking for members to comment with their questions for Mother Earth, Gaia, or to comment with an emotion that they would like healing for. And I tried different ways I tried creating a poll as well as allowing comments with that kind of thing. And I didn't get a whole lot. The poll, it wasn't completely clear that that's what this was for, or this is that what that was for. And I only got one comment. And the one comment seemed like it might have actually been an advertisement. But that being said, it was about meeting your spirit guides. And so I'm just going to go ahead and see what Gaia comes through with. I'm going to shoot for approximately half an hour, 30 minutes. I may stop and check the chat. And if there are comments in the chat, I will go back into channeling and see if I can channel a response to those questions or comments if they do come in. And I just wanted to try this out and see how it goes. The only other channeler I have seen, well, I have to say actually there are two that I have seen do this live. One does it for a price. You put in your question ahead of time, you pay the money, and then he has a moderator that reads it and then he answers it, all while maintaining the channeling state. The other ones I have seen do not take questions while in the channeling state. And so it will be interesting to see how that goes. Of course, I've seen Esther Hicks Abraham, and she has people in the hot seat. So I guess in a way that there are people asking questions live there. So we'll see if I can do anything similar to that or not, or maybe there won't be any comments or questions at this time. I will be focusing upon basically whatever the collective may need to hear at this time, not without any other questions. If there's any guidance perhaps that they need to hear at this time, since I did get the one comment about the spirit guides. So as always, if you're watching this live, or if you would like to watch the recording of it, I'm sure that will be available, pretty sure, although this is my first time, as I mentioned. You're always free to join me in channeling, which is a little bit like a meditative state. So I take a few deep breaths and I close my eyes, and you're welcome, like I said, to join me. Hello, this is Gaia. The main theme that we are picking up from you all at this time has to do with being a little bit overwhelmed. And that is where the need for guidance comes. You are perhaps sometimes a bit overwhelmed because there are more than ever in your reality a vast number of points of contrast. You may call these facets. If you can visualize a many-faceted gem, or perhaps even a disco ball, each one reflecting a slightly different perspective. You can also use the metaphor of a fractal. If you begin your contemplation or visualization of a fractal as somewhat akin to a snowflake, you can imagine it begins with 6 points, almost like a 6-pointed star, but then it begins to branch out from there. And you may end up with 6 more points on each of those 6 that you began with. And as you zoom in, you may find more and more branches to a potentially infinite degree. Now, in this physical reality, whether you are primarily residing in the 3rd dimension, the 4th dimension, or perhaps beginning to inch into the 5th dimension, there are limitations. So it is not actually infinite, but it is enough to overwhelm you at times. And it does not mean that there are so many bad things going on necessarily. It doesn't necessarily mean they're all good either. However, there are a lot. And so it is just the sheer number that can be overwhelming. And even when you can identify some good facets, good branches to focus upon, there can still be even so many of those as to be overwhelming. And so we would like to provide you some guidance. We would like to invite you to filter some of your choices by how closely they resonate with the natural world. In truth, you all are already a part of the natural world, and yet you have created things that are denser, more plastic, less able to change, evolve, and yes, even decompose. As with those things that are in what you would call the natural world. Even plastics came from organic matter, but they have been formed in such a way as to be able to endure for a very long time. It doesn't mean that they cannot decompose or be decomposed in some way or another, such as by fungus. They can, but it is more difficult, takes more effort and intention to do so. And therefore, plastics, for example, represent something that is further removed from the natural world. the more you begin to resonate with those things in the natural world which flow and move and change with the rhythms of time, the less stuck you will feel. That is why we are encouraging you to begin to filter your many choices among many good things in this way. The natural world is also not linear. As we have said before, it is cyclical. And it is truly three-dimensional in the respect that it is not linear, as we said. So, for example, if perhaps you are looking into conserving water, the linear way to think about going about that is to say, well, plants use water, so we should have fewer plants. However, this is not the reality of the natural world. The reality is that the more plants you have, the more they shade each other, the more they reduce the amount of water that evaporates, so-called evapotranspiration, from the leaves of the plants. And in a way, it's as if they share the water, because the roots even keep it closer to the surface, keep it closer to themselves and each other. They work together. And therefore, by maintaining this moisture atmosphere, this moisture soil, this moisture environment, they actually use less water. So perhaps you can begin to see the way in which the natural world is not as linear as your scientists may have made it out to be. As you begin to incorporate this knowledge, this perspective into your life, it will help things to flow for you. It will help to light your path, light your way, and make things much clearer, and help you to avoid overwhelm. We felt that was the main message that you all needed to hear today, or whenever you are watching this. So now we will pause. We will check to see if there are any comments. And seeing none, we will go ahead and close. We thank Amy for channeling this message to you all today. Namaste, beloveds. And thank you for joining me and us. Whether you are watching this live, I don't think anyone is, but I can't tell as this is my first time. If you have any comments to share after the fact, please, by all means, do go ahead and share. Again, I am Amy Karen Johnson. I am the Earth Channel. And my website is amykarenjohnson.com, as it is spelled, as you can see, my YouTube channel name. The only name that's spelled a little differently is my middle one. Karen is spelled Caryn. So if you go to amykarenjohnson.com, you can see a lot of the information I have to share with you there, as well as astrological readings. As I have mentioned before, not often, but sometimes, I believe that astrology was originally channeled into this world from beings beyond our planet. And in a way, astrology is a way of continuing to channel that knowledge into the world and into our lives. And so channeling and astrology are not so different, in my opinion, as they may seem to others. And that's why I've chosen to do both on most of my videos. Again, thank you for joining me. If you have any questions or ideas for future videos, please share those as well. Namaste, beloveds.